Was this year, 2023, as bad as predicted? Was it all doom and gloom? Well, let's see. Now, the infamous doomsday clock stood at 90 seconds to midnight. That's as close to all-out catastrophe as ever before. And primarily because of Russia and their comments on possibly using nuclear weapons. And Mr. Putin warned of revoking the ratification of the treaty banning nuclear tests. So for a while, I think people were trying to dig their bunkers and maybe reading like Citizens Nuclear War Survival Skills and Handbook. But the good news is we didn't blow up. That's right, we're all still here. Sigh. Yeah, I remember the Cold War years. I grew up with the missile silos and all that worry. Hate to go back to that. But there is more good news. Even though we have been funneling a lot of money to the Ukraine to help against their invasion by Russia, and to Israel to help eradicate the Hamas, we as a country are not in a war. So let's take that as good news. Also, we did not get hit by an asteroid. Now don't laugh. We actually had a close encounter. In the summer, astronomers spotted an airplane-sized asteroid that was large enough to potentially destroy a city on an almost collision course with Earth. But no one saw the space rock until 2 days after it had zoomed past our planet. The asteroid, named 2023 NT1, passed by us at only 1/4 the distance from here to the moon. So, we were lucky again, right? And we really have no worldwide pandemic, and we're not in quarantine. Again, another reason to be joyful. And unlike what a lot of people predicted, such as the stock market crashing, being in economic collapse, the dollar is still actually going really strong right now, but it sure is shocking when you walk in a grocery store and look at the prices of items or go out to eat. But it could have been worse. More good news, our electric grid did not collapse. And 80% of the US population did not perish within 2 months because of it collapsing. So that's good news. So according to a report published by the Washington Post, Chinese hackers this year targeted the Texas power grid, the Hawaii water utility, and other critical infrastructure. And they're among the recent targets of state-backed Chinese hackers. Another good thing, we did not get hit by a very, very powerful solar flare and send us back to the Stone Age. But we are around solar maximum, and there have been 12 X-class flares in 2023, which is more than occurred in the previous 5 years combined. And these X-class flares are the most powerful class of solar flares. And several of them have launched clouds of magnetized plasma or coronal mass ejections, better known as CMEs, and smashed into Earth. Yet we were lucky. Now, another thing people have really been worrying about is AI, artificial intelligence, taking over humanity. While that has not happened yet, many people are worried. With the release of ChatGPT, many in the industry, famous people, scientists, Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak, signed and posted a letter that advocated taking a 6-month moratorium on AI advancement. Their fear is that the AI labs are in an out-of-control race to develop and deploy more powerful digital minds that no one, not even their creators, can control. Their points were these. They said we should ask ourselves, should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Should we automate away all the jobs, including the fulfilling ones? Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? And should we risk loss of control of our civilization? And they're saying such decisions must not be delegated to unelected tech leaders, and that powerful AI systems should only be developed when we are confident that the results will be positive and manageable. So what's happened 6 months since they posted that letter? Not much. The race is still on. Now, if you ever watch Doomsday Preppers, you know one of the fears was of a super volcano, right? Like in Yellowstone, and it erupt and basically destroy most of the United States eventually. Well, again, that didn't happen. But two supervolcanoes a world apart have the attention of scientists. One is in southern Italy and one is eastern California. But the scientists, most, are saying, don't worry, they're not going to erupt yet. And more importantly, something that people worried about, especially lizard people in Walmart, I believe, were the aliens invading and taking over civilization. And that hasn't happened either. Well, at least as far as I know. However, 3 military veterans testified in Congress hearing on UFOs, and one was an Air Force intelligence officer who claimed the U.S. government has operated a secret, multi-decade reverse engineering program of recovered vessels. He also said the U.S. has recovered non-human biologics from alleged crash sites. And while we're talking about aliens, what about zombies? Again, no zombies knocking on the door, but something that resurrection biologists are doing does kind of worry me. They're reviving zombie viruses. The warmer temperatures in the Arctic are thawing in the region's permafrost and potentially stirring viruses that, after lying dormant for tens of thousands of years, could endanger animal and human health. And they say they are doing this to better understand the risk posed. I don't know, did they ever watch Jurassic Park, right? Gotta be careful, right? We don't want a worldwide pandemic because we dug up something that was tens of thousands years old and we have no immunity to it. Now, also this year, we're going on record as the hottest year ever since temperatures have been recorded. Up to you if you believe in climate change or nature running its course. It really doesn't matter. If I look out my window right now, I live in Michigan. Yeah, there's no snow. There was no snow for Christmas. It is not how I remember it as a kid. That's all I can say. So, I think we need a resounding sound of clapping hands because yes, we survived another year. But there was also many good things that happened that often the media just doesn't cover. The United Nations General Assembly adopted the High Seas Treaty, which is aimed at marine conservation in international waters. So that is good news. And more good news. You know, a lot of the experts believe we are in the golden age of medicine. There are breakthroughs happening every day. We just got our second vaccine approved by WHO for malaria, and it's only going to cost about $2 or $4 a dose. I think you need 3 doses. But wouldn't that be wonderful if malaria could eventually be eradicated? And we have 2 new therapies to combat sickle cell anemia, which is such a painful disease. One is using the CRISPR method, the gene editing method, and the other one is putting a harmless virus into the patient's stem cells. Both have marvelous results, and it is such good news if you know of anyone who has sickle cell anemia. So earlier in this video, we talked about AI, artificial intelligence, and how people are kind of scared of where it could go. But right now, it is helping us immensely in the medical field. They have found out that ChatGPT is better at answering patients' questions with information and compassionately than a doctor. Not quite to me, since I'm in the medical field, that's not surprising to me at all. And AI is accelerating the discovery of new drug treatments, and it can find tumors in scans more effectively than humans can. And there have been breakthroughs for cancer. Very promising treatment in the UK for prostate cancer, using a cheap drug now for cervical cancer, and they say it's the biggest breakthrough for cervical cancer in 20 years. And England just approved a drug which they say is shown to prevent breast cancer. I mean, great news. And the holy grail of clean and limitless energy, nuclear fusion, is now closer. Scientists have achieved ignition. So, we're one step closer. And because of neurochips and implants, a paralyzed man is now able to walk using a thought-controlled brain-spine device. So yes, a lot of fantastic things have happened in medicine. And if you notice the thumbnail of this video, I used the worst case scenario 2023 calendar. And I love this calendar. In fact, I just got the 2024 desk one for work. And what I like about it is each day has a different an expert advice for extreme situations. Now, this one is good on January 8th, how to de-escalate a confrontation. Really good. Let's see what else we got here. How to escape a forest fire. Yeah. How to survive a riptide. I mean, each day it can be something like adjusting to higher altitudes, or my favorite, November 29th, that must be right after Thanksgiving, right? For Black Friday. How to evade a stampede of shoppers. Good knowledge. Anyway, if you're interested in this calendar, I have a link below. But what I do is tear out a page of interest and keep it in my prepping information. Can come in handy. And sometimes it just gives me a good laugh. So, 2024, it's almost on us. And you know, last year I made the resolution that I was going to be more positive and try to find something that gives me joy each day. And I've done pretty darn good this year. And I plan to do that in 2024 too, even though I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult because it is a presidential election year. And I just warn everybody, we all have different opinions, and that is great. And have discourse, have discussion, but don't have yelling matches. Don't expel people from your life because they have different viewpoints. Be calm, listen, and Lord, I don't look forward to all the political commercials that will be coming on. But I hope that 2024 will be a great year for each one of you. So, happy New Year.